Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at these three cameras. They're all CCD cameras and they're all relatively new to the market. From left to right we have the Foxeer Monster. In the middle is kind of a nondescript Banggood camera that lists itself as a 600 TV line CCD camera. They obviously liked the orange the others were using. And then here on the right we have the Runcam Eagle. And you've probably seen videos of these two cameras. And this camera, the Foxeer Monster, comes in off of Banggood sites currently at $39.99. The Runcam Eagle recently came down in price, was mid-60s, and now it's $54.99. And this camera here in the middle is $22.99. And I was very interested in the performance difference. They both have the ability to configure themselves to whatever your image preference is. They all feature wide dynamic range. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take a look at the image quality in the default stock settings. And the other thing that we should take a look at is weight. So if you're putting this in a micro, you might be interested in that. I'm going to use the mount that come with the cameras because that is a bit of a variable. So the Runcam Eagle at 19.2 grams, the nondescript Banggood camera at 17.4, and then the Foxeer Monster at 17.3. So we have our weight. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to test the image quality by using, I kind of switched that, didn't I? So they go like this. I'm going to set these all up with those VTXs that I recently had a video on that are really the micro-sized VTXs, and they're just off camera here. That way we're sure that the image transmission isn't playing any sort of role. I don't think it does anyways, but there's a possibility that the image quality might vary depending upon your transmitter. And so we're going to try to eliminate that as best we can by using the VTX02 across all three of these. So let's take a look at our testing setup. This is the testing platform that we're going to use. I've got the Eachine TX02 transmitter. They're all the same. I did that video a little while ago and I like these things so much. Even though I'd gotten 3 for a review, I bought 3 more because I think I'm going to be using them continually. And we've got them all wired into our cameras, and you can see our camera layout. This is just an approximation. I'm not trying to get perfectly sciencey here. I just eyeballed the depth on the board and the depth between the cameras. And then you can see I wrote down our channels on these because I'm using the Eachine Pro DVR on the middle camera, which is the generic CCD camera that comes from Banggood. And then I'm going to be using my Fat Shark HD3s to DVR the Runcam, and then I'm going to be using the Boss Cam channel 1. That's why it's not written down here, because this thing doesn't do any auto channeling, to record the Foxeer. And we'll go walk it around the yard. To power these, I'm going to be using the Genzace 220 milliamp battery on each one of these, freshly charged. The angles on the camera should all be at 0. But again, that is just an eyeball. Only the Runcam has the degrees written on the side of the mount. So I just used my eyes to make sure that this platform was going to work. And then I'll be carrying the DVRs around with me. So we're likely going to get some interference because they're going to be so close together. But this will at least give us the opportunity to see what the image looked like. And they'll all be set to the default out-of-the-box settings. No changes. Now whether those settings are the same or not, we're not going to compare that. This is what you can experience straight out of the box without customizing your settings. This is day 1 of 2 on testing. This particular day is very overcast and the lighting is very flat, but we get a little bit of a test here in the house, and we can see that the colors on the Monster, you've probably seen that before, they're quite bright and vivid. We also get an opportunity to see the field of view difference. You can pause that to kind of take a closer look at the field of view difference. The Monster is quite a bit wider actually, and it has a bit of fisheye at the edges of the lens, which you might expect. Again, please don't pay any attention to the signal breakup that you might be seeing on one or another. We've got 3 DVRs that are very close together, especially 2 of them. I've got one on my head, one hanging off my arm, and one mounted to that piece of wood. So I did my best to keep the bands as far apart as I could, so to minimize that effect. But if you see some breakup, it has nothing to do with the camera. And I'd have to say in some cases, like looking here in the backyard, that the generic outperforms the Eagle ever so slightly. And if you're looking for a lot of rich colors, you probably want to look closer at the Monster. The Eagle and the generic are going to handle lighting conditions differently, depending upon what you're looking for. You may want that more rich and vivid color scheme, or you may be looking more at shadows and bright light situations, which we'll look at next. And you get to see that field of view right here as we've got them lined up. That Monster is quite a bit wider. And pay attention when the garage door goes up, especially at the Monster. It does not quite handle this situation as well as the other two cameras, as that garage door gets near 3/4 open. It takes a bit more for it to see. And if we look at the generic and the Eagle, you'll notice that the sky is a little bit bluer in the Eagle than it is in the generic. It's one of the few differences I've been able to find as I watch this video over and over again. And that blue light streak across the generic and Eagle, that makes me think these cameras, at the very least, have the same lens. Depending upon what you're looking for, you may find one of these cameras suit your eye a little bit better. To each their own on that. For my purposes, because I'm always looking at minimizing cost and being able to build a vehicle and still be able to fly it like I want, because I do have a number of different builds I go through, I'm probably going to use the generic a number of times in the future. At $22.99, it's just hard to beat that budget, especially considering that you can have the sun directly in your face and still be able to see into the shadows. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those in the section down below. And thanks for watching.